Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Bisi, lived in the town of Ibadan, with forests and hills. Life had dealt with Bisi so hard. Bisi was an orphan. She was 15 years old when she lost her parents. Because of the incident, her mother's sister, Mother Aduke, adopted her. Even though Bisi had a roof over her head, Aduke's family did not welcome her. Her stepmother had a stony heart that was filled with bitterness and hatred. Bisi was so brilliant and beautiful. Her eyes gleamed like stars in the night sky, and her dark, gorgeous skin shone in the sunlight. She was the most intelligent student in her class and constantly ready to learn new things. Her teachers appreciated her intelligence and determination. Bisi was brighter and favored than Mother Aduke's children. As a result of this, which made Mother Aduke to hate her the more. Mother Aduke has 4 children. None was brilliant and useful. They were always bringing problems to her. Aduke could not stand seeing Bisi excel. Her envy turned her wicked. She thinks she's better than my children. Aduke would murmur to herself, her face twisted in anger, always showing off. With that smile and those clever answers, I will show her, said by Mother Aduke. One fateful day, Aduke decided that enough was enough. She set out to find the town notorious herbalist, known only as Iyajuke, a woman whose power were feared by all. Deep within the forest, hidden in the mist and shadow, Aduke approached the herbalist, please, her heart pounding with fear. What do you seek, Aduke? Iyajuke. Voice moved from the darkness as she emerged, her eyes glowing like flame. The air around her was heavy with the scent of bonny herbs and ancient spells. I want her to suffer. Aduke eased, her voice laced with venom. Bisi, that orphan girl, of course, she's too beautiful and too smart. I want her cursed, so she will never find happiness, so that no one will ever want her. Iyajuke considered Aduke's request, a sly smile creeping across her wrinkled face. She concocted a potion, a foul breed bubbling in a cauldron of bones and roof, chanting incantation in a language long forgotten. In an incantation, in a language long forgotten, she dipped a black feather into a potion and handed it over to Madam Aduke. Take this, Iyajuke instructed, a voice like the rustling of dead leaves. Brush it across her lips as she sleeps. From that moment on, her breath will smell like the stench of death itself. She will be offensive to all who come next to her. Aduke did as she was told. That night, as Bisi lay fast asleep, she carefully brushed the foul feather on Bisi's lips. The next morning, Bisi woke up immediately, noticed something was wrong. An unpleasant odor filled the room, making her vomit. She brushed her teeth, gargled water, and chewed mint leaves, but the smell only grew stronger, clinging to her like a shadow. At school, her friends began to keep their distance. The students, once eager to sit next to her, moved back in disgust. What is that smell? They would whisper, their noses wrinkling in disgust. Bisi's cheeks flushed with embarrassment. She tried to explain, tried to laugh it off. But the odor was so relentless, it became the talk of the town. How the beautiful, brilliant Bisi had been cursed with a bad breath that even the fly avoided her. 7 years later, life became unbearable for Bisi. After she graduated from secondary school, her stepmother did nothing to help her further education. She withdrew from her friends, spent her days alone, and really spoke unless she had to. She avoided eye contact, keep her head down, and her laughter, once bright and loving, was now silent. Poor girl, the villager would say, shaking their heads. She would never find a husband with that kind of smell. Such a shame for a girl so beautiful. However, the villagers weren't the only ones who mocked her. Even Aduke's children, who had earlier looked down on Bisi, were now openly mocking her. Who would ever want to marry you, Bisi? Her stepsister sneered one day. You are like a princess cursed by a wicked witch. No prince will ever come for you. Bisi's heart hot. Every cruel word felt like dagger, cutting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into her soul. She tried everything to get rid of the curse, visiting herbalists, drinking bitter brews, and scrubbing her mouth until her gums bled. But nothing worked. She felt trapped, doomed to a life of loneliness. One evening, unable to bear the pain any longer, Bisi wandered to the outskirts of the village, to a quiet river where she often sought comfort. She sat by the water edge, staring at the reflection, her tears rippling the surface. Why me? She cried, her voice echoing through the trees. What did I do to deserve this? I just want to be loved. I just want to be normal. As she snubbed, a stranger approached, a tall man with a gentle smile and a kind eyes that sparkled like the river surface under the moonlight. His name was Ade, a wedding merchant who had recently moved to Ibadan. But before then, when he was relocating to Ibadan, he came across an old native man on the road who gave him a strong native herbs and said to him that he will meet a lady with a bad breath on his way to the river. Give her these herbs, and she will be free from the curse a stepmother casted on her. The old man was Bisi's late father, who appeared to Ade. Ade collected the herbs and continued his journey. It took him 3 weeks to meet Bisi. Ade was known not just for his wealth, but his compassion and wisdom. He sat beside her, concern engraved across his face. Why do you cry, my dear? And asked softly. Bisi, startled with his presence, quickly covered her mouth. She had grown to the look of disgust that followed her words. Please go away, she mumbled through her hands. You don't want to be near me? Ade's gaze remained steady. I am not going anywhere, he said gently. Tell me, what troubles you? Bisi hesitated, but something about Ade's calm behavior made her feel safe. Slowly, she uncovered her mouth and told him everything about her parents, her stepmother, the curse, and the torment she endured every day. Ade listened intently, never once interrupting. When she finished, he nodded thoughtfully. You are not alone in this, he said. I believe that every problem has a solution and every curse can be broken. Come with me. He led Bisi to his home, a beautiful house filled with the fragrance of fresh flowers and warmth of soft candlelight. He offered her a cup of tea brewed from rare herbs he had collected on his way. Drink this, Ade said, handing a cup. It's from a faraway land, a special blend of herbs that cleanse the spirit and heal the heart. Bisi hesitated, but took a sip. The tea was unlike anything she had ever tasted, warm, soothing, with hints of sweetness. As she drank, she felt a strange sensation, like a weight lifting up her chest. Her mouth tingled, and the foul odor that had plagued her for so long began to fade. It's gone, Bisi whispered in disbelief, touching her lips. The smell, it's gone. Ade smiled. His eyes twinkled with delight. Sometimes we carry burdens that aren't ours to bear, he said, and sometimes all it takes is for someone to see us for who we truly are. Bisi had swelled with gratitude and joy. For the first time in years, she felt free. She looked at Ade, her eyes brimming with tears of happiness. "Thank you," she said, her voice choked with emotion. "Thank you for seeing me." As they turned into weeks, Bisi and Ade grew closer. Ade wasn't just a wealthy man. He was kind, understanding, and saw Bisi for the person she was beyond the curse. They spent days talking, laughing, and dreaming about the future. And soon, their friendship blossomed into love. Word spread throughout the town that Bisi the girl everyone has pitied, everyone has hated, was engaged to Ade, the most sought-after bachelor in Ibadan. The villager who once spoke ill of her now whispered in her of good fortune. How did she do it? They wondered aloud. How did she break the curse? Even Mother Aduke, who had cast Bisi aside, watched in disbelief as Bisi the girl she tried to ruin became the happiest bride in the land. Her envy had led her to commit a terrible act, but in the end, it was Bisi's kind heart and Ade's unwavering love that triumphed. Bisi and Ade's wedding was a grand celebration, filled with music, dancing, and joy. As they exchanged vows, Bisi knew that she had found not just a husband, but a partner who loved her unconditionally. Together, they built a life filled with laughter, adventure, and a love that could not be broken by any spell. From that day on, the town of Ibadan remembered the story of Bisi and the curse. It serves as a reminder the true beauty lies within. No matter the obstacle, love always finds a way. And Bisi, once cursed and forgotten, lived happily ever after with a man who saw her worth when no one else did. Then after Mother Aduke was exposed, she committed suicide because she could not stand the shame and disgrace from the villagers. What a story. Subscribe more.